can't believe I've been subbed this long. Only you and Squishy get my money, smiley face.
Mad Money, thank you for the love, man.
Definitely a very entertaining team.
Mad Money, thank you.
Different game. They're just different.
Every single player on the roster, it was like they were their own superstar.
Top team in Europe is taking it to number 2 as Joyo.
I think that was against FaZe. The title doesn't fit the video. Well, it's about Joyo, obviously, right? That wasn't even the card design he was using during that goal.
In the RLCS 2021 and 22 season, Rocket League fans bore witness to the most meteoric rise in the game's history. Never before had we seen such an unexpected climb to the top from a young group of players that were previously completely unheard of. But all within less than a year, the names Rise, Joyo, and Vatira went from 3 question marks to household names in the community. Today, I present to you not only a story of failure, triumph, and beautiful redemption, but also a story of family and a young player's dreams coming true right before our very eyes. Folks, after more than 2 years of putting together this documentary, I proudly present to you the biggest project I've ever worked on.
Damn!
This is the incredible story of Joyo and Moist Esports.
Wait, so is the video on Joyo, or is it just like, is the video for Joyo, or is it on just Moist, like the rise of the whole team? Mostly Joyo. So it just, well, I mean, he was part of the team, and that's what it is.
In 2017, Rocket League announced the location of the 5th RLCS World Championship, the biggest Rocket League event yet that would take place at the Copperbox Arena in London, England. Meanwhile, up north, a Rocket League fan named Joyo saw this as the perfect opportunity to attend one of these amazing events in person. Fortunately for Joyo, it wasn't too far from home, so at the age of just 12 years old, he and his mom went to go see their first Rocket League World Championship in person.
Was this when
Little did they
C9
know,
won?
This very event would be so special that it would go down as one of the greatest in Rocket League history, even to this day.
They have to keep this one alive. A lot's gonna keep following.
Oh, this was a Justin one?
But only for a brief second, because Justin is gonna win it for energy.
Dude, this goal was gross. So was this. There were some crazy goals in this land. Yeah, this was peak Rocket League.
The Justin goal is probably the most fabled moment of that LAN. I remember I watched it. Pretty insane. I mean, something that'll never happen again, probably.
Although he didn't have any plans for his own future with Rocket League at this point, you can imagine how special it must have been to attend potentially the greatest event that this game will ever see.
I remember my mum told me, she was like, you know what, I understand the game now. Like, she didn't understand it before. And then when she went there and like saw it as this big event and like people came all over the world to watch it and there's money involved, you know, she supported me.
But as I said, at this point, Joyo wasn't really sure where he'd go with this game yet. In the meantime, he eventually found himself on the other side of the community, on a freestyling team known as Pulse Clan.
Pulse or Pulse Clan, the way I'd compare it to anything is it's like COD trick shotting.
No way! No way!
It's like FaZe. It's like the FaZe trick shotting of Rocket League.
Anyone who knows about the freestyling community in Rocket League knows that these guys are some of the most mechanically impressive players in the world. Joyo happened to join the clan as a comp clip hitter, which basically meant he was someone that would play competitive
The fact that
matches in
NRG
high-level rank,
lost
for
that
example,
series
but still go for insanely
makes the goal less
impressive
iconic.
shots against
I mean, I
those
agree.
high-tier
It's still a
defenders.
crazy goal,
At
though.
just 13 years old now, his skill set was growing fast, and as you can imagine, it formed his playstyle in a very unique way. But at the same time, Joyo wasn't completely committed to freestyling either. During all this, he was also grinding a different competitive ranked system, known as six-mans. Six-mans, on the other hand, is pretty much the exact opposite of freestyling. To casual players, they don't really care about it, but to competitive players, it's a crucial step to take in order to eventually reach the
Mad
pro
Money,
scene.
thank you for
In
the
short,
16,
Six-Mans
man.
is a Discord community
Why are you
with
saying
its
Mad
own
Money
ranked
again? God
system
damn it.
where players can queue matches
Gregory,
all the
thank you
same,
for the
but
5
it's
months.
much
No,
more
I'm not
competitive
drunk.
than
Thank you for the
system
love,
built
man.
into Rocket League. Instead of the ranks just stopping with Supersonic Legend being the highest achievement, in six-mans they actually keep going beyond SSL, with ranks such as B.
You guys see rank X? That's where I'm at right now. So just know you are watching one of the best of the best. This is how it goes, and I'm at the very top, under S. It's kind of crazy to think about, isn't it? Greg, thanks again, man, for the love, bro. I appreciate it.
B+, A, X, and eventually Pro. By the time he was 14 years old, Joyo was still making progress and all the way up at rank A, which is pretty respectable, especially considering
Yep.
he still wasn't fully committed to either side of the community yet, until something devastating happened.
What happened?
So you mentioned earlier how there was a point where you almost stopped playing entirely. Can you tell me about that?
So, when I was 14, I nearly quit the game.
What happened?
I demoted from rank A.
This is the average Rocket League player experience, literally. This is exactly how they think. Straight up. Like, they lose six-mans, and then they tweet out they're retiring. Or a tournament that's like, they didn't even, you know what I mean? But this is actually how it goes. He's not kidding.
know, when a young player demotes from a six-man's rank, it's like the worst thing that could ever happen to them.
Yeah.
So I got in that like emo phase, you know, black profile picture, that's like completely was not ready to grind back up, and I just stopped playing comp completely. I played casual, and I was like, well, I mean, I'm freestyling and I'm impulse and everything. I might as well.
What up,
do that
G-Money?
instead of comp.
While at the time this was a pretty dark era for Joyo, it's also where he really began to make a name for himself. Pulse Clan is Rocket League's most popular freestyling team, with huge creators in the community. So when his focus shifted toward that, he started popping up in various YouTube videos. Not only did this get his name out there, but this era of being on the edge of nearly quitting the game also further developed his unique skill set of creative mechanics, which came in very handy when he had a sudden realization as he was getting closer and closer to turning 15.
Bro, the way I look at Joyo, and don't take this literally, but like, imagine Forky went pro in like 2019, right? Like when his mechs were like better than a lot of people, like a lot of pros. Joyo was like the first person that actually made it. Like he made it from like a freestyle and like crazy mechanics and converted it into pro.
For RLCS, you have to be 15 to compete. I didn't even think that the game would still have like a big fan base. I thought it could have died before I turned 15, but lo and behold, I was about to turn 15 and the game was at its peak. I had this sort of moment of realization, like, I might as well try. I took that 6 months to, you know, get back into six-mans, and I started grinding again, you know. Fully focused, more motivated than like even before. It was like a new level of motivation, like a surge of it.
Now that Joyo was 15 years old, he was eligible to compete in Rocket League's official competitive league, the RLCS.
Now you only have to be
so
13.
When the previous season was ending and the off-season began, that's when Joyo had the perfect window to find himself a team. They call it Roster Mania. This is the time where anything goes. Players are running around with tryouts and discussions to find the perfect team as soon as possible to join for next season.
Everyone, they're looking for new teams. They're scrambling to get a team sorted, to stick, to start practicing as fast as possible.
And for Joyo, his situation seemed to align perfectly with a longtime friend named Rise.
Me and Ron.
Were you in Roster Mania? So I got kicked from Xset in 2020, like early 2021. And then Roster Mania went boom. And then I was fighting for spots with NRG. And then I ended up on Knights. Fuck me.
We were in like nearly identical positions. We just sort of like gradually came to the idea together. Why don't we try out? Why don't we see what we can do? You know, we've known each other for ages. If it works, it's perfect.
So with that in mind, still not fully committing to anything, they looked around for a few different players to try out with them. One guy in particular was a French up-and-comer named Vatira, who was also just now becoming eligible.
We did a scrim with Atira, and I mean, I don't know how to explain it. It just like instantly clicked. Something I'd never felt before. I don't know, it was perfect. We all knew what we were doing. We didn't need coaching or anything. We didn't need to like learn how to play with each other. It instantly was just perfect. Me, Raz, and Vatira, we signed up for this tournament. It was called Mediterranean Esports. There was a few pro teams in it as well near the end. We signed up, we didn't really think anything of it, and we got quite far into it, but at the same time, I had a scrim with Endpoint. Endpoint was the first pro team I ever got asked to scrim with, and we get this time for this tournament. The tournament match is meant to be played, it was an hour or two after the scrim. So I get into the scrim with Endpoint the day later, thinking nothing of it. I play a game or two, and then I'm getting spammed by Rise. The guy got the times wrong, he told us the wrong time. We need to play now. And I'm like, well, I'm in a scrim. It wasn't an argument, we were like discussing it. I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I want to do this scrim. And he's like, you can scrim with them whenever, but like, we only have this tournament now.
Why is this even a combo? Am I tweaking? If you're in a grand final of a tournament for thousands of dollars and the team you're trying out for is upset that you're in the grand final, fuck off and put a thumb up your asshole. Reschedule it.
Now. It was my first pro tryout, and you know, it was really exciting. Something like I finally get to prove myself. So he convinced me. I leave the Endpoint scrim early, not knowing that that'll be my last scrim with him because I left. But yeah.
So these guys were pissed off that they ended up he ended up playing a grand final of a tournament for thousands of dollars. What the hell are we talking about?
Leave the scrim and I play with them, and I mean, it went pretty well, to be honest. Luckily for us, we won the entire tournament through the upper bracket. We peaked, I don't know, we were playing really good against everyone, and it was very lucky. I mean, that admin who got the times wrong accidentally made this.
Following that tournament, the esports organization Team Queso contacted the three of them. It seems that after beating their original team in the upper finals, Rise, Joyo, and Vatira were immediately on their radar. Some conversations later, and it was settled. The three of them were committed to playing under the organization Team Queso.
Oh my god, Nick RL, bruh. Chat, so I heard rumors. I don't know if this is true, so do not take this like straight to the fucking heart. I heard rumors that at a land this team played at, the teams would go up after them on like TeamSpeak or whatever, and like the coach would be muted. I don't know if it's 100% true, but I remember hearing rumors about that. I could tell you if it's 100% or not, but I remember hearing about that. I hope to God it's not true for Nick's sake.
Heading into their first full RLCS season.
Dude, they look so young. That doesn't even look like Joyo. Vati looks like a baby.
So, what happens now? Well, firstly, to reach their goal of eventually competing on the big stage in front of a crowd, they would first need to prove that they can qualify for the first event of the season. To do that, they'd need to compete for one of only 16 spots in the first European regional, which is by no means an easy task, especially considering there's hundreds of other European teams trying to do the exact same thing. Fortunately though, Team Queso managed to breeze by this stage pretty comfortably, and we're officially an RLCS team.
Of course, taking an early lead versus Team Case.
Bro, I remember when this team actually started becoming on the rise. I remember watching replays with Sipical when Sip was like one of the best, and then Austin. And Sip was like watching their replays, and he was talking about how smart Bati was. He was like, dude, this guy is actually so smart. Like the way he challenges and shit.
So,
And they've now got Joyo, Vatira, and Rise. There are essentially 3 question marks, but Queso...
Since this first event of the season was just a regional tournament, it meant 2 things. First, all the players are playing remotely from their homes, and second, they were only competing against other European teams. However, what makes these events so important is that performing well in them is what qualifies you for the major event later on, where you compete against the best teams from around the world at one location in person. That is the true goal, but you can only qualify for that by first proving you're one of the best teams in your region.
But Team Queso, they're beating teams all over the place right now, so who knows?
Nick Orel might be the greatest coach of all time. I don't know. Dude, you know he's literally been on like 7 different teams, right? If you are the greatest coach of all time, that org isn't letting you go. It's like a Farah. It's like a Satu. You're not getting released off a team 7 times every season. I don't know what's going on or not, but that's just, you gotta be trolling. That's not how it works. You think like an NBA team or something is gonna let their coach go every season on a different team if they're like the greatest coach? No, they're gonna keep re-signing them and making sure they keep them.
Team Queso versus Dignitas.
What are we talking about?
In round 5 of the Swiss, going for top 8.
Like, it does look like Dig just outclasses Team Queso, but I would have said that about a lot of the teams. Team Queso's been playing a bigger than Jack. We're going to see something.
What up, Lucas?
Game, and maybe we can just close it out and stop.
Oh my god, was that triple tap?
He's such a good coach, he can't be contained. Baby. Baby.
In the air, and Scrub's got to get a piece of this.
There we go, Jack. Off the backward, double tap. Put that one in. Put it in. Oh! No follow-up either. Rise. Look at the save.
Oh, there it is. Glorious, baby.
We lost a game 5 to Dig. I think we lost a game 5 to BDS and stuff, and we knew we could win them series. But
What up, Wise?
It was annoying
What up,
that
Snake?
we weren't there yet because we knew we could be.
You're good, Lucas.
Unfortunately, for their first RLCS showing, this pattern continued. 2 weeks later, in the second regional, was an even worse performance. After that, in the third, they managed to sneak in the top 8, but were eliminated by a Game 7 loss. This put their finish for the first split at joint 9th in Europe, which unfortunately meant they'd miss out on the first major of the season. But on the bright side, there was still plenty of the season left. In fact, that was only the first of 3 total splits. In the next one...
Bro, how did we go backwards with this game? Honest to God. How do we go from having a fall major, a winter major, and a spring major, and then a world championship, to literally taking out a whole third of a season? It is so upsetting, bro. Literally. I forgot we had 3 majors. And we had 3 splits. So, like, there would be a whole nother set of 3 events we get to play in. Money just sucks ass.
When all the points would reset, and they'd have another
What up,
shot
Evo? Good luck
at
today.
qualifying for the major.
Evo, if you lock in on kickoff versus the Patos, you win that easily. Do not let him do the dumb wave dash.
Hi, my name is Jack Collier.
No! Bro, he was actually like my favorite caster. I could not believe when they let him go.
Better known as Corelli in the RLCS. The Queso story is not only an interesting story to me, but also, I think, an important story to the greater context of the esport of Rocket League. In the first regional, Queso came out swinging pretty heavy in Group B. They finished the top of their group. But I think the big turning point that I think turned a lot of heads towards Queso was the upper bracket final against BDS.
BDS are just one of the best teams of all time in Rocket League. They are passionate after the fall major, and they're going to take it the whole way
Holy
to
shit, a lot of you guys probably don't even know who this is. Some of you guys probably do. Gregan got released years ago.
this event, starting with Queso today.
Get a little bit of breathing room. Vatira used all his boost to make that challenge happen. Now another response for Joyo, and he's missed it. Extra will punch it in. BDS punished late.
I think all of us on our team have this idea that you play the best when you have nothing to think about, and the game's like purely instinctual.
It bounced up to zero. Goal! Queso, with 4 seconds remaining, have responded with a tying goal.
We sort of spoke about how we wanted to play our game, and we had this like new way of playing, just like purely naturally, because we knew we worked together, and it was way less stressful, I'd say. Like, it felt natural, and I mean, the rest is history.
And I feel like regardless of whether or not you're a fan of Team Queso, you're happy to see them finally get a goal.
This game is dying because of you, Ken. Fucking fat ass.
50-50 does go his
Speaking
way.
of dying, the sub goal might die today.
Like you said, Jorby, you really cannot count out BDS quite yet, unless you've got Vatira on the other side.
I certainly didn't expect Queso to be
You like
up
that,
4-0
Evo?
by the time here. BDS have not had the fortune of getting those passes, and Queso are on a demolition derby towards a victory.
I will say, this production on this video is actually crazy. Like, you can tell this is actually a good video. How many views does this have? 140K. This is one of the more higher quality vids I've ever seen on for Rocket League YouTube videos, straight up.
Queso went on to
Yo,
beat
Toasted,
Dignitas
thanks for
in
the
grand
big 1
final
year,
in
man. I
command
appreciate it.
fashion again. And I think at
Not
that
sure,
point,
casual.
everyone knew this split
Probably
was going
8.
to be different than previous.
The shocking result of the first regional of this split turned out to be in no way a fluke. After taking first place in it against all odds, Queso carried that momentum straight into the second regional 2 weeks later.
That is complicated. You know, that complicated sequence like you did? Probably not, but that's what we love about Queso. As Joyo now going all the way, is that triple?
A second place finish, only losing to the previous major champions, meant that Team Queso had now clinched their spot for the major before the third regional had even begun.
So at this point, Queso had done something that so few teams had done in the past. They went from a relatively unknown group of players struggling to make main events to top dogs in their region while keeping the same roster. You had 4 wins over Dignitas, you had a dominant win over BDS, you had 2 wins over the domestic
Lucas with the motherfucking 5 balls! Why is my alert broken?
But the job was still
Lucas,
far from
thank you
done.
for the love, man.
At the
I
Winter
appreciate
Major
it.
in
Thanks
Los
for the love,
Angeles,
man, Lucas.
California, Queso would finally have their chance to show the entire world.
Thank you, man. I appreciate always the love, Lucas.
How are you today?
I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
When you're playing Rocket League Esports and you're a pro,
Thank you, Lucas. I
number
appreciate it,
one
man.
goal, play in front of a crowd.
You look at Team Queso as one of the best.
Toasted,
teams in
thank you
Europe
for the
right
1 year
now.
sub as well. I
Just
appreciate it, bro.
winning regionals and taking down teams like
Lucas might be your
BDS,
best
just
viewer.
won the fall major.
He honestly
And then-
is.
So now we see them in a completely different environment.
I need more
because
Lucases.
You're not in the comfort of your living room anymore, or your bedroom, or wherever you're playing at. You are here in this building, and then you're going to be there in front of that crowd, and we got to see how it affects everybody.
Was this the land G2 one?
When Queso entered the group stage, they were placed with APAC's 1 seed Detonator and NA's 3 and 4 seed FaZe in version 1.
Yeah.
Queso up against
Chicago,
Detonator,
Atomic,
to put
and
things lightly,
JNAF.
They crushed them. For all intents and purposes, this was basically a warm-up series for Queso. It was an expected win, and they dominated throughout.
The 5th for Team Queso.
Stone, thank you for the prime sub, man. I appreciate it.
I was a little worried for him. I remember casting the series with James, and a big talking point was how FaZe had been pretty consistent against EU teams on land.
The Winter Major, you haven't seen it here.
Ah!
For FaZe 2 up.
So FaZe felt like they were going to be a pretty big test for Queso.
Oh, fuck. They scored some crazy goals in this series. I remember they were popping off.
After dropping 2 games in the best of 5, Queso did well to battle back.
Stone,
and
thanks for the prime,
they were
man.
able to win 2 straight to clinch that series.
No, Jacob.
I also casted the Queso version 1 series, and I was pretty confident that Queso was going to win. I think players and community started to take notice of version 1, particularly about how Calm was acting during the Winter Major.
Oh my god, this is when he
His
was a
play
menace.
style was very demo heavy.
What up, Kepner?
He was a nuisance. He was annoying.
Beast mode.
But really, I think it was the off-the-field behavior that caught everyone's attention. Teams were sat facing across from each other, which means even with headphones, players were still in earshot of each other if you screamed loud enough. It turns out, Cobb knew this, and he started laying into players.
And then a fake from Joyo on his own teammate. What's going on?
He's laughing at him.
He's in their head. He's in their head.
I can't say it for everyone.
You can low-key argue that Calm was the start of why Vati and all these players went full-on anime mode. You can honestly argue it. That he's actually like a big part of it.
Player, but like it doesn't like get to you personally. You don't feel bad about what he says, but you want to say it back. They try and make you as panicky and rushed as possible.
Beast mode!
On the other side of the venue, we can still hear it.
His trash talk was something even me as a caster in the other room could hear through my own headset.
Here comes Torment. Beast Mode's gonna take it away. Down into the net. Version 1. Intense so far. Some big upsets here. Version 1.
Holy shit, Roldis was on the desk at this time. God damn, it's actually weird to see how quick it moves.
Guys, getting the win on Queso on the B stream. Roldis, none of us saw this coming.
Team Queso's unexpected loss to version 1 put them at a severe disadvantage for the rest of the tournament.
God, V1 went 3-0. They went 9-1 in group.
Automatically be placed in the lower bracket for playoffs. A daunting 7.
I mean, NA had 3 teams. EU didn't even have one in the top 4 of the upper.
That was the reason Joyo ate earwax.
Yeah, man.
Series away from a championship title, where one single loss would immediately send you home.
It's crazy. It's absolutely ridiculous. This was one of the grand finals that I thought was most...
Turtle?
It's fair to say most teams in this spot in the bracket would lower their expectations at this point. It's hard not to...
No! Justin Squishy! Was this when NRG was like in their like bad phase? Was this when they were like really bad? Fucking hell, man.
Holy 30 months.
This was like the end of it. Wait, did they stay together after this season? I forget. Or was this their last season together? Look at all the orgs that left Rocket League. Oh, I know. It's crazy. Oh, they stuck after this season. Yeah, that was crazy to me.
When you're constantly on the edge of elimination and so far away from success. But for some reason, even as rookies, this pressure didn't apply to Queso.
Dude,
Having
that was
their backs
gross.
against the wall turned out to be exactly what makes them so special. And the entire scene was just about to realize that. Starting with North America's best, NRG.
Right. You can't say NA's best when they're in the lower, right? We got 3 teams in the upper. Come on. What are we talking about?
Queso set NRG on an early flight. It's going to be up to Team Queso to shut the deal down. It's making a lot of these 50s favor Team Queso. A bullet through the corner. A pass through the corner.
God damn.
Rise to the occasion, young one. Challenge, come off the ceiling, put a little force behind it. That's a big demo and a quick follow-up. Oh my gosh, Rise.
What does it mean to you to just have all these people coming out for the love of Rocket League?
Through it's Joyo who comes down with hip flip reset. That's perfectly executed.
It's surreal, to be honest. I've never expected to do this in my career, and I love all the fans. Thank you very much for supporting me.
Opportunity for the flip reset. From 1 to 2 to 3.
Good play.
Absolute anticipation of everyone in the crowd leaves right. Team double. All 3 are up now for phase. They know the ball, but they get picked off. And Team Queso to the mistake.
Oh, not this series. Bro, they should have never won this event. I will stand on it. They should have never won this event. Sometimes things are just meant to be, bro. It's like the Pacers. Pacers win every game 1 out of their ass, right? It might be meant to be.
At this point in the tournament,
No, I'm saying they should have never won this series. Actually, yeah, you guys are right. Sorry, I'm backtracking now. Fuck you.
I think everyone felt like something special was happening with Queso.
The time has come. Game number 1 to start things off.
Entering the space station series.
Evo, you know what the worst is? It sucks being wrong at times, but it's also even worse when you're wrong in this chat because they'll let you hear it. They don't just move on.
Queso pretty much embarrassed them in game 1.
Coming out and putting on display. Here's
What up, Ball Don't Lie?
But Queso still on a roll.
Rattles!
But as the series went on, it seemed like Space Station was settling in.
But now Reynolds off the ceiling, has the flip, there's the bump! Reynolds scores! Space Station in the lead!
And the series kind of progressed exactly like that. Highly mechanical shots with both teams going blow for blow.
Tied up, and we'll see.
Get the follow-up! Arsenal follows his pressure again, but Joyo got through. Oh!
As fake all around the pitch working out in favor of Team Queso, and a double tap, adding insult to
Marco, thank you for the 7-month sub. What up, Marco? This series was nuts.
So, Game 7 started with maybe the most amount of tension you could have in a
Marco,
Rocket
thanks
League
for the big
series
sub,
that
man.
Isn't a final.
What the fuck? Dude, I feel like I'm watching like a movie trailer right now.
About a minute in, Queso was leading by a goal, and they were able to put away their second.
Batira, one more touch needed, got it down in front. Rise will do it again. Queso coming along.
Usually in these moments, you kind of feel like the series is over. It was going to take somewhat of a miracle for Space Station to make a comeback.
Queso's put up a wall on their
NA doesn't stop
With less than
fighting.
a minute to go, Space Station did finally score their first goal, and you could feel the sigh of relief, I think, for Space Station fans and, of course, the players.
This is it.
SSG need this drive.
It's all on the line.
Is it gonna land?
That's
It is! Daniel scores! SSG are within one!
It meant that it was possible for them to get back into this game.
The ice on the stage is unbelievable, and now Daniel
They're not
wants
stopping.
more.
They're not
and
stopping.
Batira read the play. Arsenal couldn't get the second touch, and that's dished behind Reddles. Now Joyo with 30 to go, trying to add one more. Rise demolished.
So there are a few plays that really come to mind as one of the all-time greats in Rocket League. But here in Game 7, with 30 seconds left, Rise definitely gave us one of them. In a 2v1 situation against arguably the top 2 physical players in the league, Batira was left in a lose-lose scenario. He either had to go for the ball and get demoed, or dodge the demo and give up his position to defend. In this case, Batira somehow managed to do both. He dodged the demo and at least delayed the presumed goal, but with the ball still trickling
Should have been a demo. That makes no sense.
towards the net, the inevitable seemed certain. Until Rise suddenly appeared to help out. You see, at the beginning of the play, Rise was demoed. And when you get demoed in Rocket League, you spawn on one of your defensive corners after a few seconds. So on the respawn, Rise had to do some inhuman calculations. First, identify which side of the field he spawned on. Second, adjust his car accordingly. And third, make the save all within a couple seconds. After respawning, you can see that Rise was actually guessing which side he was going to spawn on, turning his wheels immediately to the left. However, Rise spawned on the left side, initially veering in the wrong direction. But in a fraction of a second, Rise readjusts.
Does anyone feel like we're watching sports science? R.I.P. He passed away actually last week.
Correcting his direction towards the play and coming off screen to make what is the most legendary save that Rocket League Esports has ever seen.
He's going up field. He's hunting. He's hunting. He got it. Incredible. It's not in. And now it goes the other way. Final 15 seconds. Queso trying to transition. But here's Space Station on the ball. Daniel now into the corner. Can he make something happen? Reynolds takes down Joyo. Ball going into the midfield. Where's anybody? Reynolds all the way. Is this going to go?
No!
It will. Team Queso to the grand finals.
Queso avanza en la grand finale. Team
What the hell did Stacks just say?
Queso gets a date with G2.
Joyo, what a series against Space Station.
Good luck against one of NA's teams.
Absolutely crazy for you.
Hoosier, thank you for the big sub for 30 months. What up, Hoosier?
Shout out my parents. They're supporting me at home, and I mean, they've helped me so much in my journey.
Thank you, Hoosier.
It is time to show the world we are ready for the grand finals.
Fight, fight, fight!
The North American Gauntlet, and they've ended at their final station. One last bastion.
for those counter-attacking chances. They have to look for the bumps, and they got to get someone in net because Queso, I'm just hoping to score it.
Because we're now in the grand finals and Queso is coming from the lower bracket, they once again are forced to fight from behind. In order to take the championship, they'd have to beat G2 in 2 best-of-7s.
Not happening.
A tall order once again, but considering what Queso had accomplished already.
Let me see how this bracket worked out.
In order to take the championship, they'd have to beat G2 in 2 best-of-7s in a row. A tall order once again, but considering what Queso had
So V1 lost to SSG. G2 beat Furia and then them. They beat Arsenal Reddle's team. It should have been 2 NA teams in the final. Bullshit. How did EU do this tournament? Endpoint got dicked on. This is when BDS, this was the downfall of BDS right here. They made roster changes here after. EG got shit on. Then you got Queso. Damn, man. I mean, this is kind of an underrated era. I didn't realize how horseshit EU was.
accomplished already.
No MENA teams yet.
Anything was truly possible.
That one off the bar. It's open.
Heth, thank you for the big 10-month sub. I appreciate it, Heth.
Flip reset to keep going.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks for all the subs today, guys. Almost road to 30. I appreciate it.
Rise winning another 50. It's Joyo keeping it going. It's Joyo destroying G2's defense. Queso up by 2. Taken away by Rise. Has frozen on the backboard. Here they come. G2 looking for the shot. Oh, it's gone! G2 again. Chicago downfield. Just on target. Chicago! Another goal for G2.
Yo, you know what was peak for Chicago is he's from LA, like where this land's at, and all of his family got to go to it. And they got to see him win an event. How crazy is that? That's sick.
G2 aren't able to capitalize. Now there might be a bump after Kawazira. There it is. Rise. Long shot goes in.
Look at the ball, and even on low boost, they somehow are able to export out those mechanics. But G2 on the game. The next step delivered. Kicked out of the way. Matira drops it down. Here comes Chicago. Stay on the bar. Here they come again. Atomic. Goal! We're going to Champions Field.
When a grand finals reaches game 7, it really is the perfect setup for something amazing to happen.
G2, one game away from winning the major for themselves and for North America.
Some of Rocket League's most iconic moments in history have occurred in situations just like these. And for the first 4 minutes of this game, it was looking like we were about to witness another one.
The shot quality from Team Queso is just not there. Look at the clock. G2 have wasted so much time here. They've been defending, but they've defended well enough.
Rise, pops the ball hard. Leads to a save for Chicago. But coming back, return fire! Joyo ties the game!
But they managed to get those clears, but eventually Team Queso was able to find that opening, and now they see a
Get the fuck out of here.
save from Atomic keeps it tied.
G2 have to step it up at this moment. Look at the boost. Team Queso are really struggling here, but a backcourt response for Joyo.
Atomic, does he have the next touch? He missed it, but everyone's over on Queso. Rebound comes in, one touch from Joyo. It's a race now, running this Rise, and it's going to be G2 getting back.
Critical recovery from G2. A goal now would be it. Surely Rise actually sends it wide.
Unexpectedly though, what happened this time around, as the clock counted down, can only really be described as embarrassing.
Again, trying to find the touch, pass out to Rise, downfield.
Wait, did Joyo fuck up? I forget.
By G2. Time running out. Here they come.
No, I forgot about this. Oh my god, this was that series. They both called each other off it. Like I remember asking Chicago about this. Chicago got called off by Atomic, but Atomic thought Chicago was still going to commit to it, so he backed off because he was already there.
I've casted Rocket League for almost 8 years, and...
Wait, I forget. No, I'm pretty sure Yeah, I think Chicago was gonna go, but Atomic said he had it or something, so then Chicago backed off. I think that's what it was.
I have never seen something like this.
A complete choke from G2. Atomic and Chicago both leave the ball at the worst moment.
You could really see the pain on Chicago's face more than anything. Clearly, there was a miscommunication between him and Atomic, and Vatira just smacked it into the net with no one from G2 getting a touch on the ball.
Vatira puts the ball onto the ground, and here we go. A bracket reset.
We're not done.
Although the bizarre ending to the series played out to Queso's benefit, they unfortunately couldn't keep the same performance throughout the second series.
So Team Queso, they're fighting from behind, and another goal being dropped in.
You could call it fatigue, you could call it inexperience, or simply being flustered by the previous series. Either way, something wasn't right.
Or they just got outplayed.
All the work, the countless amount of clutch moments that got them there, it all came crumbling down at the time where they needed it most. The time where they were only one series away from becoming RLCS major champions.
After the G2 series, and after we lost, I remember we went back to our practice room, and I just started crying.
Where was the challenge? I thought Joyo was on the back.
Man, it's a fucking video game, kid. There's more to life, man. These kids need a fucking packet, yo. Talking about video games and shit, man. It's a fucking video game. Go outside, man. Hang out with your boys, bro.
I couldn't believe it because I knew we could have won, and we had the momentum until game 3 of the second series.
He forced the own goal. G2 has the lead.
It's just like dread because of how close we could have, well, how close we were to winning.
Following the unfortunate but still impressive second place finish at the Winter Major, an unexpected statement was released from the Team Queso Twitter account. It was announced that they were releasing their Rocket League team of Rise, Joyo, and Vatira ahead of the spring split. The season still had an entire split left before it was over, so this announcement initially left RLCS fans only with confusion. However, it wouldn't be long before the truth would come out.
Tickle my
as
pickle,
just about a week later,
Kepi.
their new home was officially revealed.
But Moist are going to be kicking things off.
The one and only Moist Esports.
The level of Moist Esports to join Rocket League.
Moist Esports actually did acquire the Queso roster.
A happy and moist RLCS day one.
Moist picked up Team Queso, which is pretty insane.
And it's as a lot of you expected, Moist Esports.
Rise, Joyo, and Vatira being signed by Moist Esports was some of the biggest news the community has had in a while, largely because of what it meant
Let's
for
get
the scene
wet. I
overall.
forgot about that.
Joyo, flip reset immediately back onto the ball. Oh, and he puts it through the defense.
For those that don't know, Moist is an esports organization run by YouTuber and streamer Moist Critical, aka Charlie.
Yeah, baby! I just post it on the internet. Some people watch it, and that's really about it.
As a long-time, highly respected, and tremendously popular content creator, Charlie immediately brought millions of new eyes onto the Rocket League pro scene.
Bro, his watch parties were doing really good.
It's something I never thought would happen ever. I've been watching Charlie way before Moist Esports was even a thing.
It was to do with Flow. My, what on earth?
Level 2, then the striker goes to the sky. He can get a flip reset here, and he can take it as well. Feeling.
Okay, good.
Carrot, thanks for the
Each
16-month
time Moist
sub.
would compete
We needed
throughout
that
the spring
today,
split,
Carrot. Thank
Charlie
you.
would watch party their games with his huge audience, which quickly made Moist one of the biggest fan bases in professional Rocket League.
They're doing their watch party and they're all sitting there
Thanks,
like,
Garrett.
screaming. Someone like that involved in the scene is like nothing but positive things can come from that.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Oh my god, read him a bedtime story! Oh, the rule one.
I'm leading his team.
They truly brought a huge new audience to the RLCS, not only through making the games more lighthearted and fun for everyone, but simultaneously delivering some of the most hype reactions the community has ever seen.
Come on, Rise! Come on, Rise! Yeah!
Through the final split of the season, Moist unfortunately had a little bit of a slower start in the first two regionals with still decent placement, but they pulled it together for the last one to take home regional number 3. This totaled them up to easily qualify for the spring major, this time coming into it as the second seed from Europe. So once again, the boys packed their bags, hit the road, this time headed straight for London. London. Why is
Flicka,
that so
thank you for the
familiar?
4-month sub. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you.
Welcome to the London Major.
4 years ago, we witnessed in this very arena.
I watched season 5 and it was a great event.
We're back.
Why is there a guy in my Discord typing this? What just happened? What is going on? Bodger, what the fuck's going on?
Oh, we gotta kick it off the right way.
The Spring Major was Moist Esports' true shot at redemption. This time, the format was simplified to just one double elimination bracket. Lose once, and you're sent to lowers. Lose again, and you're officially eliminated. For the sake of efficiency, the first 2 rounds of the bracket would be played in one double...
Bro, can we bring this back? Seriously. We had a double elim the whole way. Like, think how crazy this is. A double elim all the way to the grand finals. Like, this is, like, insane for brackets as a fan perspective.
Elimination bracket. Lose once, and you're sent to lowers. Lose again, and you're officially eliminated.
Bang! Thanks for the 23-month sub. I appreciate it, Bang.
Would be played in studio. Double elimination.
Bro, look at the orgs in this shit. G2, Furia, K-Corp, V1, Endpoint, Moist Optic, Team BDS, SSG, Pioneers, FaZe Clan, Power, Liquid, and Falcons. It's crazy.
Elimination bracket. Lose once, and you're sent to lowers. Lose again, and you're officially eliminated. For the sake of efficiency, the first 2 rounds of the bracket would be played in studio with no live crowd present.
And so can he capture that magic again against Moist? It's gonna be tough with Vatira's flip resets coming from the ceiling.
But from round 3 and on, the doors would be opened to showcase every match in front of the entire London crowd. Reaching that stage was Moist's first step in this long journey toward redemption.
Perfectly positioned, a nice pass coming through. Rise and taking the lead. The pop up over Illusion. Vatira getting the bump, and now Rise
tangled up. Our Optic still
Throbbing, thanks for the big 18-month sub. What up, bro?
2-1 Moist.
Thanks, Throbbing.
Morning,
Moist's
gang.
first
Happy
series in the
Saturday.
tournament here was quite the breeze.
Oh my god, Optic was Alu, Mist, and Drees. And then Turbo got moved to the bench spot.
But as soon as only round 2,
He was
they
on the
would
team to
already
begin with.
see their first real hurdle.
This one is so hard to call for me. It happened in the group stage, I think, in LA as well, and it was a 3-1 win.
Throbbing,
for
bang.
version
Thanks for the subs, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for helping us get to almost 30 today, guys. Torment!
Monsters. First one's gonna be Torment with a flip reset.
I mean, version 1 was really good. Calm was a menace, both on ball, off ball, and even out the server. You have to imagine dealing with something where someone is so physical.
To have the most success, but this could work here. Beast mode.
It's tough for Moist to kind of, or any team, to be able to deal with a lot of that happening at once. You're trying to get adjustments, you're trying to get your head on straight, because the match is going to continue whether you're ready or not.
Trying to tie up the series with this narrow 1-goal advantage.
Oh no!
Beast
and
mode!
expectations beyond just the second round, Moist found themselves losing their flow early on.
Beast mode, really their daddy.
It's open. Torment is gonna parry it in.
So version 1 was giving Moist a reminder of what had happened in the winter.
God damn, Beast mode!
Calm with the shot. It just feels like they're struggling even just to get the possession. And no one there. Beast mode.
You think about it too much to the point where it just happens. And all I could think about was throwing again. So I threw again.
Usually, after taking an early loss like this, it would mean that your next few matches would at least be a little easier. But to make matters worse, Moist weren't the only top contender with this same fate.
America, it's the Winter Major champions who have been knocked down. Pioneers 3-0'd Team BDS.
Look at that lower bracket. The #1 seed is a curse.
So now you have G2 and Moist in the lower bracket, and FaZe Clan and Team Liquid all in the lower bracket. I think everyone was stunned to a point where we really didn't know what was going on.
The crazy amount of high-power teams in the lower bracket, specifically in the way of Moist, meant that every round from here on out would be against a genuine threat of a team that could very well end their tournament lives right then and there. Somehow, the road ahead of them was now even more
See, I want them to bring lands back like this. Like, I am honestly just so sick of seeing Swiss 10 weeks in a row of RLCS. Like, I want to see different shit. Like, I want to see groups into it. I want to see double elim from the rip. Like, I'm sick of seeing Swiss top 3 and you know certain matchups are just horrible. I want to see it if you lose, you're fucked.
daunting than what they had faced at the Winter Major, which is exactly what makes these next few days of Rocket League history so special.
It's the lower bracket spark, it's still alive. Moist doing it in the Winter Major.
With such an unpredictable lower bracket, it seemed like everyone had their own take on how they expected it to unfold. There were so many completely different possibilities that all had reasonable chances of actually happening.
I gotta say, FaZe, they're gonna make that lower bracket run.
For Moist though, whatever they did to get themselves back on track had clearly worked, as they took down the Pioneers in a comfortable sweep.
Heading into the final weekend.
Their next series took place the following day against Team Liquid. Already, this was one of those matches where you could predict either of these teams making that full lower bracket run.
Moist versus Liquid was close. Desk was split.
People some respect. Liquid versus Moist. It's a close battle. We got a very split desk.
But my oh my, Cole, this has potential to be an offensive shootout.
You're not going to want a slow start versus Moist. They've managed to just about tear it back from G2. There was a lot of viewing parties happening. No renewal was going to happen. And neither did the Liquid defense.
Give them faith. Right, one on the goal line. You can't quite catch up.
But when the next set of RLCS begins, they're capable of taking it to anyone.
So it is starting to look like much more of a battle. Liquid have kind of settled in their opening nerves.
Looking to bear down and finds the far post in. Team Liquid tie the series up.
Crowd will serenade us potentially.
There it is.
He's flag behind him, representing his nation. Gunn's just going on for a tie. Team Liquid, they cannot be beaten in game 3.
Chronic.
Completely on its head.
So now Team Liquid have put the series on match point off of that. Again, Moist was in the lead until 0. Liquid score and then immediately win the overtime off the kickoff. That's got to be demoralizing.
It's moments like these where you could easily imagine a young team like this losing their spark and accepting defeat.
Liquid want to shut it out now and drop one of the greatest teams in Europe right back home.
Majoyo, nice follow-up to keep this ball alive, and just like that, Prize scores off the rip.
However, rather than giving up, Moist would pivot from here to pull something off in this tournament that would ultimately define their legacy.
Mods, can we throw a prediction for the first series today, if you guys don't mind? It's we're gonna watch Clears and then play in 20 minutes. We'll tap into it after this video. It's Clears versus Dr. Known, and then we'll go over to it. Does this streamer have a coke problem? His finger is always in his nose. Are you saying me sitting here like this? I don't even know what that means.
Predictably in the way. The attack continues, so Izoski's from the infield pass, Matera again.
And after some incredible defense in game...
You act like I'm literally just chilling here, then all of a sudden you just see me go, yeah, let's go Liquid! 1v1 Rocket League!
Game 4,
I think I just literally
they kept
popped
Liquid scoreless to
my
even
neck.
out the series.
Game 5!
In Game 5, Liquid would bounce right back with some relentless offense to take the early lead.
It's not landed very well at all. Ato puts it apart, and Chronic sinks it home.
But it wouldn't go unanswered, as Moist strike back less than a minute later.
There it is.
Now that I have your attention, I'll sub if you unmod trolls.
At this point,
If we get a 20 bomb soon, I will literally unmod trolls. Because he said some dumb shit on Twitter yesterday.
they score anything and they light up. They are taking all the energy.
I
from
love
the
you, Kep. You just
crowd
look so
and
chubby and
just
cuddly, fat
channeling
ass.
We have under a minute. We have a draw game. Only a few seconds left. Team Liquid need to get this ball. They're not going to be able to. Moist Esports on the cast. First they were cheesy, now they're Moist.
For the first time of what would be many, Moist had just barely escaped elimination and were now moving forward to the lower quarterfinals.
You can hear from the roar of the crowd that you are the crowd favorite. How does that make you feel?
I mean, just thank you to everyone here. We love you all. We're gonna win it.
With the ending of that match, every
100
series
gifted,
from
he's
here on out in the
unmodded
tournament
forever.
would be a best of 7. But to see who Moist would
Trolls,
play
would
next,
you take
the
one
two
for the
upper
team?
semifinal matches had to be played first. In the first one, version 1
100
took
gifted's
down
a fuckload.
another European favorite team, therefore earning their reputation in front of the crowd as the villains of the tournament.
Boy, as he turned into
I went to the Boston land, the Texas land,
This
Dio.
team attracted so many haters, you'd be troubled to find a single goal where the crowd actually cheered them on. But still, they performed incredibly well and were moving forward in the upper bracket. Meanwhile, in the other match, whoever would lose this one would be Moist Esports' next opponent in the lower bracket. This one ended up being a total nail-biter of a series. But in the end, the Falcons would continue their run, which therefore meant that Moist Esports' next opponent would be none other than SSG.
Saturday has been nothing short of ridiculous. Space Station coming fresh off a thrilling 7-game series, now in the lower bracket.
What up, Muffin?
Given the context of what happened last time these two teams played, literally just a couple
Bro, I'm gonna keep it a bug. This video is great, but watching an hour Rocket League video is insane.
Ago at the Winter Major, the hype was certainly real, and as the series played out, it was shaping up to be another banger for all Rocket League fans alike.
Be easy, I'll probably tap to it.
Moist still in control of this, right off the kickoff.
Something about these clashing playstyles and personalities makes the perfect recipe for great Rocket League and unbelievably clutch situations.
It's gonna lead to a goal, and yes, it has.
It's hard not to watch a series like this and be completely captivated.
What up, Can I
despite it
see?
only taking place in the lower quarterfinals. The series continued
shot.
to progress and become more and more intense with each passing moment. There were plenty of
Daniel?
reasons to back either of these teams making the full run to the grand finals, but only one of them could extend their tournament lives from here.
2 years of this dork's life wasted. Wade, how does it feel knowing he could literally walk up to you right now and say, I will buy your house in cash?
Trying to keep Arsenal honest. Reynolds got the clear.
And what better way to
He's
decide
literally broke? You think Joyo's broke? I'm actually going to pocket watch a little bit. Oh, yeah, no, he ain't buying your house. Never mind, he ain't buying that shit. He's probably made like, what, 130 after taxes? He's got saved up. Contracts, probably an extra 120. Never mind.
Then another Game 7.
That's if he saved everything. What up, kid?
Boys, can they clutch it up like they've done so many times?
It's perfect for a Game 7 like this because you're going to frustrate your opponents by getting these bumps and demos.
Ali, no, he doesn't.
Space Station want a quick response. Trying to bump them out of the way, trying to force them out of the rotation. Arsenal in the air. Meltzer! Oh, what a save from Rise!
Rise again, staying grounded, staying cool.
Oh, it's off the post!
Shooting wide, Arsenal isn't able to.
Do these kids drop out of school and shit? 95% of pros end up just going online school. And I have heard so many stories where they'll just pay people to do their homework for them. Literally. They're just like, fuck it.
Yeah, great blocking though there from Arsenal. Had to stay strong against two Moist players. It's getting so close. There is the
Bang! Get that shit out.
Arsenal clears it. Chances at both ends.
Not giving them too much space.
Scribbles goes to school.
Space Station win another touch.
Space Station a 2-7 in Game 7.
Ah!
But none of that matters now with the late equalizer.
It has been a true battle in this best
Bro, I remember this goal. It's like a musty flick.
Space Station hanging on to that
out of Rise.
avoiding the bump. Space Station again getting that.
Someone like
just
musties
getting
or
away
some
from
shit.
Huge miss there. He's got it.
Bro, This was what I was talking about earlier. They should have never won this LAN. Like, do you know how fortunate you have to be to get a kickoff goal in this situation? Like, they should have 100% lost this. It's the overtime goal. This was so troll by SSG.
So, what happened from your perspective on that play with 9 seconds left?
The only reason they scored is because I missed an aerial that no one else was up for. I literally just said, my fault, and I just went like silent after.
Rettles becoming animated, returning.
Do you think any RL pros actually have over a million in savings? Oh, wait, there's a good, I'm not gonna say a good amount, but I know there's, yeah, definitely. A lot of them, if they've been a pro since like the 2018 days, and they've saved up and invest, oh yeah, there's a good amount. I'm not gonna sit here and say there's like fucking, 40 plus, but there's probably like 12 of them. No, there's more than 2, easily. There's people that you guys don't think that have a million saved up from pro that easily do, that I know they do, because they've been investing since they were a kid. They've been making salary money since they were like fucking 17. And then they have earnings and shit, which are a couple $100,000 with their contracts. Definitely.
Both Rise and Vatira, like they both just started talking. They were like, it literally doesn't matter.
There's probably like 12
we
pros.
We're chilling. They don't deserve that. We got time. Come on, Tisbum. Come on. Let's go. You're gonna peek. Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was a blessing from like a higher power. I did a perfect kick.
Doing a hard cheat and then Arsenal rotating away from net is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like, this was such a throw that like it actually pisses me off. I remember watching this being like, what the fuck? One, Riddle should never cheat past like this fucking like area right here. Also, Arsenal should literally be taking boost and turning back in, not acting like they need a goal pushing up here. I mean, it's literally just terrible.
Kickoff, and they messed it up. Vatira followed perfectly, and we just scored instantly.
That was so troll.
It was like, no way they did it again. Like, really? This really?
Such limited boost, and yet Space Station managed to hold on tight.
Controlling the midfield. He's got enough boost. What's he got? Reset. Went too far forward for a pass. All Daniel did was just sit there.
There it is. Rise. God, what a throw. That actually pissed me off so much. Yo! Yo's in the chat! Nobody type!
Holy shit.
What up, yo? Chat, no one type. It's one of the top gifters. One of the big dogs. What up, yo? Thanks for the love, man. Hope you're doing well, bro. Bro, someone literally came in the other day. It was actually yesterday. They asked if our top gifters literally come in. And Duck came in like 3 days ago. I was like, yo, hasn't been here in a little bit. But then Baron, I was like, stopped in and subbed the other day too. Now you're here. It's actually weird. Rise, joy of the That's literally how I picture the crowd when they chant that. Rise, joy of the It's literally what I think. Anyone else?
For cake form. This one tied up.
Yeah, thanks for the big sub today, man. We needed that. Thank you, bro. Thanks for helping us get closer to 30.
Let's get wet.
Thank you guys for all the follows. Welcome in. What up, like? What up, Jayhan?
With the crowd now almost unanimously backing Moist in these matchups, it's no wonder why they looked untouchable here in the top 4, even against what used to be their one true weakness in version 1.
Finds it, pot shot turned away.
Nice passes from both.
Who did they play in the grand finals? Was it
They
Falcons?
just move so much that we've never seen before every single time they play. If you want to watch good Rocket
Yeah.
League, watch Moist.
Version 1 are concentrating though more than they ever have before to keep up their defensive. But you can rotate all you like until Joyo comes along.
To do it. What's the bump? Does he get it? Oh! Off the block! Version 1 eliminated from contention.
A tsunami of support surges through the copper box.
After a total beatdown and a beautiful display of redemption, the last thing Moist had to do was finish what they started in the grand finals.
Grand finals, Falcons coming through the upper bracket.
2 lives for the Falcons. Moist, they not only have to win 1 best of 7, they gotta win 2 at this point.
Going into this series, not even going into the tournament. Falcons
Oh
was
my
high
God,
on the radar.
Ahmed.
I think it's the destiny of Falcons to win this major.
They weren't there in winter, but everybody still knew how good they were. Johnny Boy would not shut up about how good they were. And then to see them taking down all these teams and winning in 7. They get to the finals, and it feels like this team, this is their moment. There were people like T-Bates, Wave Punk. It's Falcons' destiny to win this event.
Got the crowd, probably the loudest we've ever heard, screaming at you. You can feel it shaking as you're up there competing for the best in the world.
Everyone in the arena is just gonna shout, cheer, and holler for every goal that we see go in. Who's gonna get it first? Shots taken by O'Callaghan. Ahmed looks to keep the ball alive. Plays the ball back down. Team Falcons.
Dude, low key, Ahmed had such a quick rise and such a quick downfall. Like, dude, it was like people were considering him like the mechiest player and the best player for like a little short time, and it was just like disappeared. What? How are you gonna disagree with that? His downfall happened so quick. It was like in the matter of a season, he disappeared. Obviously, he was a beast. I'm not saying he's not. But his it was like all of a sudden he went from like this high to like gone.
Prize shot that Falcons were not ready for, but good for them. Wasn't on target. This one might be. It is! And it's in for Joyo. Unreal boost steal there by Khaled. Really starving Moist at the moment. They've all run out. And it's an own ball!
Although game 1 began
He decided to be done for the game? Yeah, when he got kicked from Falcons, when they replaced him. The fuck you talking about? He was so good. We're not saying he wasn't good. Who said he was shit?
back and forth action, it ended with an unfortunate own
Just
goal,
like, you
thus
guys just
giving
put
Falcons
words in
the
people's
early
mouth.
series lead.
Shut up and sub up.
But if anyone could bounce back from something like this, it surely would be Moist.
Advanced in mechanics within weeks. So to see Team Falcons now with the full roster still shining. He's got absolutely nothing, but he's trying to stay on the ball.
So these overtimes are the plays that you would go for in scrims. Maybe even for online for mistakes.
Amat was at the top for a long time. The issue is Mita got added to RLCS too late.
Takes control of the ball. Here we go. Might have to break away instead. Check from Matera. For Joyo. Off the back wall. Who's faster?
Moist had begun bulldozing their way through the first series, now just one game away from a bracket reset. Since the Falcons had yet to be beaten, they still had an extra
You're gonna be
life,
a great
even if the
husband one
series
day,
didn't go
thank
their
you.
way. But as you might expect, they weren't ready to give it up that easily.
Here we go. Match number 5. Are we going?
Zayn coming in with the 16-month sub. What up, Zayn?
Put this together.
Thank you, man.
We're really getting more outplays per minute. And Falcons, can they get one though?
And you once again.
Yo! A-Rag, thanks for the love, bro.
Responded with a complete
I appreciate the
blowout
big sub,
win
man.
In game 5.
We needed that today.
And
Sub
in
roll
game
could
6,
die.
Moist nearly clutched up and put an end to the first series. But the Falcons fired back with an unbelievable cross-map.
Thank you, man.
CRK's bench. It's all the way!
That was gross.
Evening out the series and sending us to game 7. Champions Field was essentially becoming Moist's home stadium at this point.
You
So
think
it's
I'm
no
gonna have, you think, Cam, you think to my wife,
Surprised that they were the ones to set the tone.
It's nice to try and back pass instead. Batira's going to be all over him. And a gnarly flick goes in. It's Moist in 12 seconds.
But the Falcons were no strangers to this field either, and quickly responded.
Schminter, thanks for the 17, bro.
Goals of the tournament.
Against Ahmad, who is actually around to help TRK out. He's got past one. Got the flick.
TRK!
That's not Champion's response. Then I don't know what is.
It was immediately clear we
Go,
had
sirs.
a real match on our hands.
TRK ties it for Falcons.
Thank you, Schminter. We needed that sub today, man. Thank you.
As if Moist still hadn't been through enough
29 out of 100, you fell off.
Next,
hey, boy, I hope you get proven wrong.
The trenches all over again.
Amen!
And from Moist Esports.
The boost bounce. Almost no one had anything off the backboard.
I mean, what are we talking about?
Did the pressure finally catch up with them? Is this really how it would all come crashing down? All we could do was watch and find out.
Falcons, potentially the goal that gives them the major.
With a mistake like that, it's going to haunt your memory, but you have to move on, move past it. You've got half of the game left.
Can't do any further than that. It's up to Batira to start the next launched offense. Team Falcons not willing to give up any length.
Yeah, that's for like sponsors and shit.
Off the wall. Back down, Batira.
That was a crazy pass.
Forget about earlier on. He has made up for it.
Moist, bring it back.
Minute and 50. Next goal is huge, and it could decide if this is a same play.
Let's just say this is how it went.
It's the same play down the other end. An even better shot.
Ahmad picks up boost, takes the one on the wall. He's got Rising Batira to try and beat. Can he do it?
Reset.
Not on this occasion. Just going to make himself as big as possible. They're forced to bring Joyo in. Ahmad against Batira. Batira gets him in time. Ball just hits that ball from here. He's going to drop down. Ladies and gentlemen, bracket resets.
They've done it.
Which we didn't get.
There. Rise. Was there any question if Rise was going to hit this?
Might go the whole way.
Bro, that's not a TikTok brain. It's just, we already know. Well, I'll literally tell you what he said. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. And at this point, Joyo understood that this could be their final opportunity to finally get that trophy. So what'd you say to your team, Joyo? Well, after that series, we went in the back and we looked at each other and said, we can do this. This is ours. We're better than them. And here was the bracket reset. There you go.
Everything about my career, it seems almost planned of how perfect it is. And like
See?
how many times, if we were anyone else, or if I was anyone else, we probably should have lost, but it's just
See?
crazy. It's like it was meant to be.
See?
Not something they practice often within their region. They surge forward with every attack.
Fruity Fly, thanks for the big 2-month sub. I appreciate it, man.
I've been told a lot by people around me. I mean, I'm a freestyler. You know, it won't work in comp. And then in the grand finals of a major, when we needed to close it out the most, I mean, I freestyled and it worked.
This was a cool goal.
Against the wall if your team Falcons, meanwhile, Moist Esports.
Of all the work they put in.
They're confident, but why wouldn't you be? When you can play like Joyo, that is outrageous.
There is no greater feeling than being the best in your class and to do it in front of a crowd like this.
Joyo off the reset. Look how far back. Moist can now play like that. They can afford to. They are dropping Falcons.
Falcons are shit in the grand finals. I actually feel bad that they haven't won one yet.
You know, from playing at home onto the stage, what's that been like for you?
Actually indescribable. I'd watch anything he did, he's just amazing. And now to be able to come to an event like this and see him win it, best day of my life.
and gentlemen, it's over.
From a kid watching to holding up the trophy. Show us it.
Now, Joyo, we've talked about teammates, we've talked about friends, but we haven't talked.
One of the biggest things, though, the only reason my mum ever believed that Rocket League had any future for me was because I took her to Season 5 and I convinced her to let me go. Time skip of a few years forward and I'm winning in the exact same place. And the people I watch win are watching me win.
We've talked about teammates, we've talked about friends, but I want to talk about family because you seem to have the most supportive mother in the world. She's right in front of you. What does it mean to share this moment with teammates, friends, and family right in front of you?
I'll never forget it. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, my mum's been so supportive, so is my dad, he's at home. It's just unbelievable.
Good video. Good video. Not bad. Now, can we get the story of Beast Mode?